welcome to this week's episode of the Cancer Cure Me podcast. Russell Peden here. Hey, today I wanted to just talk with you guys. I wanted to maybe kind of record this episode as a disclaimer. I don't know, how do they say it on television, on the radio? The opinions shared on this podcast are mine and mine alone, and in no way to be construed, as they say, as medical advice. It's just my opinion only. But I wanted to show. That's kind of my disclaimer to you. So here's my point. As I talk on this podcast, interview other guests on the podcast, the information shared, the opinions shared by myself or the guests are just that, our opinions. I may come across as anti-conventional therapy, or I have my own opinions about conventional therapy and what drives it and what are the reasons why it is so highly pushed and promoted by cancer doctors, oncologists, and the whole industry. But I am by no means saying that people shouldn't try conventional therapy. Actually, part of my cancer journey included some conventional therapy, chemotherapy to be exact. So it had a great effect on the size of my tumor, my lymph nodes. But so I want to be sure that I be clear that as you listen to these episodes and my podcast and share with others, this is not an anti-conventional therapy podcast. It's not an anti-doctor, anti-United States cancer system type podcast. I'm just sharing what worked for me and share what has worked for others. But more importantly, how going through this cancer journey or this major life change therapy, not everyone is on this podcast was going to have cancer, although the title is How Cancer Cured Me, is that what I wanted to get across is how going through such a tragic event or potentially tragic event has transformed people into better people, better individuals, better spouses, better fathers and parents and mothers, better business people, better leaders, better people overall. And I'll let you judge from hearing their stories how it has changed them and how it could potentially change you, or if you decide to make the change. So that's where I wanted to go with this. This is the whole purpose of this short little quip, is that this is my disclaimer. In no way am I saying do not do conventional therapy recommended by the cancer system in the United States. Although I was cured by my cancer in Mexico. Actually, I believe I was healed by God using the Rubio Cancer Center, Dr. Rubio, who I believe is a genius. That doesn't mean that there are people all over the world being healed and cured of their cancer every single day. Even in the United States, people are being treated and are surviving. They call them cancer survivors. I don't like that term because I like to say I'm cancer free. I like to release it. I let it go. After I received my treatment and my healing, I no longer want to consider myself anyway associated with having cancer. I just had it. I'm cancer free. It's no longer part of my system. I don't ever want it to come back and don't intend for it to come back. I just speak life into my body every single day. And I hope that you would do the same thing. So that's my disclaimer on today's short 5-minute episode on the Cancer Cured Me podcast, is let you know that it's in no way is this a podcast that's going to be bashing the cancer industry in the United States, bashing doctors, bashing oncologists. It's just a way to, number one, educate and inspire folks who listen and share our podcast with people that they know, as a way, whether you are going through cancer or some other life-threatening disease, or whether you have a friend or a relative or someone that you know that is going through cancer or some other life-threatening disease. And as a result, you want them to come through the other side completely changed. And I believe that's certainly possible. I've known dozens and dozens and dozens of folks who've done it, and you'll hear from them on this podcast each and every week as we share their stories and what it's been able to, what's happened to them and their families and people around them as a result of going through their own individual personal journey. So that's it for this episode. I just want to record this quick kind of disclaimer episode so that you know directly from me that that's not the purpose of this podcast, although it may come across as I share my thoughts and opinions about what I believe is going on with the cancer industry in the United States, and there's others who may come on and share their own opinions and thoughts on what they believe. But again, Those are our opinions and our opinions only, not to be construed as law, not to be construed as advice for you, just simply our opinions. And you take that information and do with it what you will. But I hope that you will be inspired by what you hear on this podcast, on each and every episode, and that you'll so much so that you'll want to share it with others, and maybe you'll listen to it again and again and again. And more importantly, that you'll be transformed and inspired and motivated to want to share this podcast with others. That's the goal, is to reach out and help as many people as we possibly can through this podcast, Cancer Cured Me. So that's Russell Peaton today with a short episode. Have a great day. Talk to you in the next episode. Goodbye.